Cloud Strife, ladies and gentlemen, and we're in a very familiar place inside of a Mako reactor. We're looking at the brand new Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, which launched within the last 2 weeks for mobile and iOS devices. In combat, your characters will use their primary attack regularly, and you'll select which enemy to target as well as when to use your abilities as your AP gauge fills up. There's also an auto battle, as well as a fast forward feature for those that like to take advantage of that. The cost per ability can be seen at the top of their icon. Here, I happen to be using Ruin Blow twice, just to test if there's any benefit. And as far as I can see, aside from the stat boost that's provided from equipping the materia a second time, there isn't any. You'll also notice Eris, who is named Aerith, as well as Zack. That's because there are several story modes you can play through in this game. You get the original Final Fantasy VII story, which includes both cutscenes and free roam modes, Crisis Core, which focuses on Zack's story as a soldier dreaming of moving from second to first class. Lastly, there's the first soldier story, which features Sephiroth. So far I've gained access to 9 playable characters, both new and old. They can all be selected to form a party of 3, and there's far more character slots in the selection screen, so I'm looking forward to seeing who else is available. Of course we have limit breaks, and these can be chained together in this game, providing additional damage. In this video, Aerith happens to be using a party-wide heal, so you won't see the full potential of the damage scaling, but chaining these abilities together provides a large percentage boost to the output. Keep in mind, during this time the limit breaks are being used, the enemies aren't taking any actions, giving you a favorable swing in the encounter as well. Many of the enemies have vulnerabilities or weaknesses to certain elements as well, and you can take advantage of these during combat. There's both an attack and defensive stance your party can swap to on the fly, depending on the situation, and you can use this to mitigate some of the damage that bosses might be doing. Overall, the combat is very enjoyable, and definitely provides a nostalgic feel to the original beloved game. Everything in this game can be replayed as well, so if you have favorite story chapters, bosses, events, or you just have preferred grinding spots to grow and enhance your characters, it's all an option. As a mobile game, there's of course tons of things that can be upgraded in order to improve your character's power, so let's go ahead and take a look at some of those features. Once within the party screen, we can select a character. Now in this example, we've just unlocked a second sub-weapon slot. This will allow us to add some power to our character. Now, I really like this feature because if you've enhanced weapons for another character that you no longer use, well, you can still take advantage and get benefit from the higher level piece of gear here, as opposed to just letting it rot. This is very nice whether you spend or don't on the game, and for transparency, my account is 100% free to play so far, and I plan to see how far and fast I can progress like this. You can view the stats manually, or choose the best equip, whatever you prefer, and you'll see here I'm seeing how one of Barrett's guns will improve Aerith. Ultimately, I go with the best equipped since I was just showcasing an example. There are multiple ways to enhance your gear, whether it's weapons, materia, or limit breaks. Here we'll use the weapon enhancement feature, which is the first one unlocked. One of Aerith's equipped weapons is still level 1, so let's go ahead and upgrade that. We'll select the silver staff, and you can see it's equipped with the E at the top right of the item. The optimized feature has never let me down here, so I just use that every time at this point, followed by enhance. Now, we've reached a level cap, which we can also upgrade. Tab over to that section and select on cap. Now, we can even further enhance this weapon. At this point, we need more mid-grade Electrum, which can be acquired by doing solo or co-op content using stamina, a rechargeable resource that's common to many mobile games. By heading over to the solo content section, we can choose enhancement quests, and there's a variety of them that will be unlocked as you continue to progress. Now, we can see the various rewards and even click them to view their name and tooltip to make sure that we're choosing the one that we are looking to collect. Let's go ahead and enter the Rose Gold 1 for some materials, and you can see the stamina cost indicated by a lightning bolt, as well as your total stamina remaining at the top of the screen. It's also worth noting that the story does not cost any stamina to progress, but you may need to use stamina along the way to further enhance your characters to complete it. If your party is at a comfortable level to complete the content, you can select both the auto battle and fast forward feature as you're seeing here. This is perfect for grinding and burning off that accumulated stamina. You can still select abilities while in the auto mode as well. Provided you have enough AP, it'll still use anything you click manually, as opposed to blocking you out from any and all actions. I've been taking advantage of this option a lot, and that's because whenever your player level increases, you regain full stamina, often with an increase to the previous maximum. It's actually been incredibly difficult to use all the stamina I've acquired from a time perspective, but this should change as the player levels become less frequent the further you get along in the game. Backtracking to the end of a previous battle, there's a great feature, and it allows you to use 3 times the stamina for 3 times the rewards. What a wonderful feature for those who are short on time to spend on the game. This is fantastic, because after the battle you just saw, well, I gained yet another player level, refreshing my stamina. Here's a look at the 3 unique story modes the game has to offer as well. the original Final Fantasy VII, Crisis Core, and the First Soldier. They're a mix of cutscenes, combat, free roam, treasure, and puzzles. The cartoonish graphics here provided another nostalgic feel to many gamers, and the auto option I have selected is to automatically continue the dialogue, perfect for reading along while multitasking rather than having to continually click. A simple yet amazing feature. The cutscenes are simply incredible, and the graphics on a mobile device are unparalleled at this point in my opinion. These bring fresh air, even though so many of us have so many of them ingrained in our head now for years. This early scene of Midgar had me feeling like the first time I ever saw this many years ago. Just absolutely gorgeous, and while we're watching, there's so many other features in the game that deserve their own videos, like Chocobos, limited time events, banners to increase and boost drops on your draw tickets, login rewards, and more. The game is a must-play for Final Fantasy lovers in my opinion. It's free to download, free to play, and I can't stress it enough, but at this point I've had no trouble progressing without spending. As mentioned, you can free roam on missions, and these have various puzzles and cutscenes within them, many of which will be familiar. And they include random encounters as well, bringing you back to that original story atmosphere even more. They've even revamped many of these, removing unnecessary parts to help speed up your journey, eliminating a lot of the backtracking, again catering to those of us with limited free time to enjoy our hobbies. Feels silly at this point that I haven't mentioned character experience. You can of course level your characters up, and there appears to be a cap at 50. I'm unsure if that can be raised similar to weapon caps, but I'll certainly see soon enough as I'm already level 20. There are some times during story mode where your party is understandably locked, but other times you can change it, and you can always change your party outside of the story mode. Re-equipping your characters is as easy as using the auto-equip feature as well, which will adjust all characters and not just the ones selected, making this process quick and painless. By the way, there are also summons, and they're presented in a much better and cooler way than the console versions of various titles within the series as well. They're tied into the story's plot and also intertwined with some characters from the past. All things considered, I can't recommend this game enough, whether you're a Final Fantasy or just an RPG fan. This is definitely worth trying, and there's absolutely no requirement to having played any of the previous titles, let alone Final Fantasy VII, because not only does this include the original story, so you can experience it yourself, but you also get Zack and Sephiroth's stories as well, making this quite the complete package. Feel free to leave any comments, questions, or feedback. It's all greatly appreciated. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch, and have a great day.
"これでよしと